verse, it says,
What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto,
thou shalt not add thereto,
nor diminish from it.
nor diminish from his law. And why? Why? That's the reason I told you to go to the book of Psalms 19. It says, verse 7.
The law of Yahweh is perfect.
It's perfect. If it's perfect, brothers and sisters, believe me, it cannot get any better. There's no need for you to say, baby, you cooked a perfect cake, but I want you to do this to it the next time. The next time you cook, I want you to don't add so much sugar. You put too much salt. You didn't use enough butter. If you make those statements, that is a recognition that it was not perfect. Because if your wife, in fact, cooked a perfect cake, there's nothing that she can possibly do to make it better. And if Yahweh gave us perfect laws, then there's nothing that anyone can do to perfect that which is already perfect. You can't do that. And here we have in the New Testament people contradicting the laws of Yah. For instance, in the Old Testament or the Holy Scriptures, Yah says that we're to keep the laws. Well, I'm going to show you tonight that the New Testament says you don't have to keep the laws of Yahweh. You're under truth and grace. I can show you where Yah said you must be circumcised. I will show you tonight where Paul said circumcision profits nothing. And whoever is circumcised cannot profit, and Christ cannot profit him anything. That he's indebted to do the whole law, and he has fallen out of grace. Isn't that a terrible punishment for a man to just merely try to do the right thing? And a woman trying to be a do-right woman? And now because she tried to be a do-right woman and her husband tried to be a do-right man, now they're cursed. They're ostracized. They're cast out because now you committed a carnal sin. You tried to do what was right. And that's what the New Testament will project, as I will show you tonight. The Creator said, don't eat any unclean foods. The New Testament said you can eat anything at all. Yah said that a man that's a Nazarite is not to cut his hair as long as he's under a vow of the Nazarite. The New Testament said it is a shame for a man to have long hair. Yah said that a man is to obey him. The New Testament says a man is to obey Christ. Yah said that his chosen people is Israel. The New Testament said there's no difference between a Jew and a Greek. Yah says a woman can teach. The New Testament says a woman, it's a shame for a woman to even ask a question in the church, let alone attempt to speak. So here and there and everywhere you will read these contradictions. Well, a contradiction that I want to share with you tonight is a great contradiction that is being taught that Christ has died for the sins of Israel or the world, either one. And I'm going to show you that according to the laws of the true and living Elohim, that Christ cannot die for any man's sin, or no other man, as a matter of fact, can die for any man's sin. And how do we know this? Because this is a law. It was carved in stone. If we look in the book of Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, the 16th verse says,
The fathers shall not be put to death for the children.
The fathers should not be put to death for the children.
Neither shall the children be put to death for the fathers.
Neither should the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Now this is a law. These are the words of the true and living Elohim. Now why did I bring them out? Because Yah said, let every truth be established by the mouth or of 2 or 3 witnesses. Let every truth. And I'm going to establish this truth by the mouth of 4 different witnesses. Now the people that believe in the New Testament, they're supposed to do the same thing. Because in the New Testament, if you read 1 Thessalonians around the 5th chapter, the 21st verse, it says to prove all things. Now I want my Christian brothers and sisters to prove from the mouth of the true and living Elohim, prove from the mouth of Yahweh that he said someone could die for another man's sin. In other words, the mere suggestion of that would prove that Yah is a contradiction. The mere suggestion of that will prove that Yah is not stable. And he'll say something 1 minute and change the next minute, and we can't rely on his words because he will say one thing to Ezekiel and something else to Timothy, and one thing to Moses and something else to Paul, and his words are not reliable. Well, the Creator wanted us to know that his words are beyond reproach, that there is great liability in the words of the true and living Elohim, that he is very responsible for everything that he says, and when he says something, that is forever. If we go to the book of Ecclesiastes for a moment, the 3rd chapter, notice what the 14th and 15th verse says. It says,
I know.
It said, I know
that whatsoever
Elohim does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. For Yah does this, that men can fear before him. In other words, the Creator wanted you to respect him, acknowledge him, reverence him, and believe that he's totally reliable and responsible for everything that he does say. And he says no man can die for another man's sin. And it said whatsoever Yahweh says, it shall be forever. Nothing that Paul or Christ or Peter or anyone else says can diminish it. He said nothing that Yah said or nothing anyone else says can diminish his words. And he said nothing can be what?
Can be put to it,
nor
anything taken away from it.
Why? That's corresponding to the law. Don't add, don't diminish. Don't add to his words, don't diminish. This stands on its own. And then Christ is alleged to have said in the New Testament that the scriptures cannot be broken. Christ is alleged to have said in Luke 16 and 17, he said to the law, not one tittle shall anywise be taken from the law. Not one thing, he said in Luke 16 and 17.
And it is easier.
He said it is easier